Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. I'm doing this video on Sunday as tomorrow after I've done the cleaning I'm off to Snow Plus Rock. That's the ski shop next door to Chill Factor where I've been doing my skiing, and I'll be getting a custom insole for my boots, and I'll be ordering and getting my first set of skis. So I really won't have time doing it tomorrow, so I'm doing this video today. For a start, that's the latest and greatest Baby Ashton, the new Vantage. If I was in that wealth category, I wouldn't buy one of those, because I couldn't drive down from England to Monte Carlo in that. I'd have the DB12. It's a nice shape, but I certainly wouldn't have that baby one. I just don't care for it, and I certainly wouldn't have one in that colour. Anyway, enough about that. The next year, MGTOW's philosophy will be in the main public mindset for 25 years, a quarter of a century. And from 2008, when it started really kicking off, that's been 16 years. So I've had a look around to see what I could find about MGTOW, and I found this. Now, as you can see, it says "What Women Never Hear." This was done by a site called World Press. Now, this was done on the 23rd of December 2015, or about 8 years ago. So it's a general article about MGTOW, but there's a few interesting things which stand out. Namely, this: wherever offence trumps whatever are deserved, it's the natural course of social and domestic intercourse. You can't for very long get what you deserve by offending the deliverer. Women know it instinctively, but they fall and prey to different thinking. It says, contrary to what feminists and many others believe, women can't act like men and expect to be treated like women, except by men who are converted to feminist ideology and are willing to treat them as fake males. In other words, they're only doing that so they see if they can sleep with them and have sex with them. It doesn't work. It's also why women can't get men to marry. It says, men seek to marry a virtuous woman. That's also in the Bible. Virtue is any female quality admired by a man. Men admire feminine but not masculine qualities, chastity but not promiscuity, i.e. the body count, and soft but not hard-heartedness. We've all seen how aggressive some of these women activists are. That's completely off-putting to men. Men see virtue in smiles and not frowns, hints, validation, confident, cheap date, not cheap sex, neatness, etc. Without seeing virtues piled upon virtue, men just don't marry or stay that way very long. Also, they're not dating these days. Women deserve what they get according to what they do, i.e. play the feminist card too hard. Don't be surprised when guys just don't want to date you. Women lead from their hearts, men follow, except when they lose interest, i.e. they've been playing the feminist card too hard. It happens when women lack respect for who men are and what they do. Then men fight back, i.e. the MGTOW effect. One strategy today is for men to join up together to go their own way. To them, women are useful objects to be exploited for sex but little else. But I disagree with that bit. Some, probably Chad and Tyrone, see women that way, but good decent men don't. Good decent men, if they see a virtuous woman, they start to think of her, could she possibly be a wife? Now, this is just a bit of an interest in towards MGTOW. If you jump to the comments, these are quite interesting. It's lots of toing and froing for and against MGTOW. I'm not going to go through it. I'll naturally put all these links below so you can have a read of it yourself. Now, as I said, Young men are turning against feminism. This was done December 14th this last year. This bit was interesting. In the run-up to the last year's presidential election, scattered reports of young people turning out to vote in large numbers. The video showed long lines of college students waiting to vote, but most of the videos they showed predominantly female college students. Their male classmates were conspicuously absent, and saw the highest youth turnout in 30 years, with abortion driving many young voters to the voting booth. They probably voted on just that one issue, probably if you're a woman for Hillary Clinton. But poll results show the issue was much more salient for young women than men. Naturally, women get pregnant, men don't. We conducting the leading midterm election revealed that abortion was a critical priority for 61% of young men, but only 32% of young American men. And then it says, gaps are nothing new in American politics, as if you're an American you'd know that. But a recent survey revealed young men and women are increasingly at odds when it comes to views of feminism. And we drop down to a list, a graph I should say. Most generation men say are not feminists. Baby boomers, that's in my generation, 38%. Had to do that probably to appease their wife. And the children, Generation X, and then the grandchildren, millennials. The first generation, second, third. The third generation don't know the struggles of the first generation. But then guys cottoned on to how women really are, i.e. MGTOW, and see the drop in percentages. But women are being influenced by celebrities, etc. There's a rise of 7%. And it says, is it in this one? No, mustn't be in another one. But then again it says, the rising objection to feminism among young men is almost certainly linked to growing feelings that American society has become more hostile to men. That would be the female-friendly family courts. And it says, in 2019, less than 1/3 of young men reported that men experienced some or a lot of discrimination in American society. Over 4 years later, close to half of young men believe men were facing gender-based discrimination. That would probably be the female-friendly family courts. For some young men, feminism has morphed into a commitment to gender equality to an ideology aimed at punishing men, a Marxist ideology. It leads to predictable results, like half of men agree with the statement these days society seems to punish men for just acting like men. And then we have a graph. Half young men say men discrimination, as you can see. These are 18 to 29, guys in their prime. These guys have got wives to women. You can see it flattens off a bit. And I'm in this group. We have seen the effect of modern women through social media, etc. And it's dropped down. And then it goes, increasingly men are reporting mistreatment in their daily lives once again. That could be the female-friendly family courts. Nearly 1 in 4 Generation Z men say they have experienced discrimination or are subject to mistreatment simply because they are men, a rate far greater than older men. Older men have not seen what's coming, but younger men have still to learn. That's where all these MGTOW channels come in to teach men. And then it's more yada yada, and it is not clear where this ends, and important questions remain. Will young men become more dejected, disengaged from society, or might find a voice in a rapidly evolving culture? Well, one thing they're doing is they're not bothering to date because they know that it's pointless. As looking around, I found this. Why men are no longer interested in dating. This was done March 11th, 2024. And as you can see, more men are choosing to remain single for life more than ever. That could be the MGTOW effect. And then we have a picture of a pretty blonde young woman. But is she a feminist or is she a traditional woman? And then it goes down. This guy, his history teacher, was a short-haired, skinny woman. She is a feminist. And if the first encounter, every other radical feminist I've met since then has been a man-hating weirdo. An example of a man-hating weirdo is Robin Morgan. She says the nuclear family must be destroyed, whatever its ultimate meaning. The breakup of families is now objectively a revolutionary process. That's Marxist talk. If you didn't know, that's Robin Williams. Excuse me. She's a keen radical feminist, member of the women's movement and leader of the international feminist movement. Looking around, this is it, the International Association for Feminist Economics. As you can see, all post-war, all post-menopausal women, not many wedding rings, couldn't get a man when they're in their prime, and it's an International Association of Feminist Economics, the global community of academics, activists, policy theorists and practitioners. It's got a conference in Rome in July, and a good time will be had by all. They think that they're really moving mountains, but not. And that's the group C, all postmenopausal women, a few simps there. And where's the other one? There's a guy, another simp. Here's another simp there, but she looks like a lesbian. All post-war, post-menopausal. They hate men. They couldn't get a husband or a boyfriend when they're in their prime, so they all join together the group to turn against men. And these are one of the figureheads, as she said. It's the family is must be destroyed, and it's a revolutionary act. And he said, women are often told lies by celebrities like Taylor Swift, who have armies of young, impressionable young women at their disposal to brainwash. Women are not desirable anymore, and that's a shame. Men would rather be single and enjoy their freedom rather than get married. It's just not worth it. Of course, men also have hobbies. Women don't. Modern women are more aggressive. They have lost their soft touch, the nurturing qualities that distinguish them from men, i.e. they want to act like men, but they forget that men don't date men. Men date women. Unless, of course, the man is a homosexual. But the vast majority of men prefer women to men. And these women, they're putting them over as pseudo-men, and that is just unappealing to men. They have been consistently told that men, through the media and powerful radical feminist interest groups, like this crowd, and her, to be more masculine so that they can climb the career ladder faster, and it's also a one-way ticket to being a cat lady. The smart ones leave this masculine personality at work. When they come home, they activate their sensual and soft side. In other words, they become a wife. Women are being influenced to the opposite side of what men want. Too often, even the strongest, most independent women strangely believe that if they try to exert enough control and dominance over a man, they will eventually get with the program. In other words, these boss babes at work, they come home and they still think they're at work, even though they're not. They're a wife, and their husband doesn't want to be treated like an employee. And it says instead the opposite happens. Men rebel and withdraw emotionally. That's the MGTOW effect. And says men are attracted to feminine energy. Femininity's power it makes a man feel masculine. Men don't want women that are carbon copies of themselves. And it comes down to this. Where is it? Women cannot, like men, expect to be treated like women. Men seek to marry a virtuous woman. The virtue of any female quality is admired by men. That's where that comes in. Why we are constantly telling women they are the same as men when we are biologically different. This is not the same as fighting for equal rights. Of course, men and women are there to complement and support each other, not to fight. But women like her and this mob, they don't believe that. They think it should always be a fight between the sexes. It says, all a man wants is to come home from a hard day's work, to have a wife and kids who are happy to see him, have a hot dinner, cooking in the kitchen. As simple as it sounds, that's all we want. That's what it was like in my home with Mum. Mum didn't go out to work. Dad went out to work. But Mum and Dad, even though they bickered a lot, they were happily married for nearly 70 years. And then it goes more yada yada. The radical feminists are convinced many women that if a man can't cook, clean, take care of kids, perform any house-making duties, then he is undateable. It's a red flag. What happens if the woman can't cook, clean, take care of the children, perform any house-making duties? Then is she undateable and it's a red flag? As Chris Rock said, the only thing women can order at times is a reservation in a restaurant. And then, where are all the good men gone? The question often gets asked by single women surprised by the lack of depth in the dating pool. Then they go on TikTok. And then more yada yada. If you're a woman, unless you aspire to be single and childless your entire life, don't follow the radical feminists like her and this crowd. But things are not all that bad, because I found this. This was Suzanne Venker. She's feminist and she has her own website. This was done August 12th, 2021. It's America's plummeting marriage rate has anything to do with the death of eligible bachelors. That's red because I had a look at it before I did this video. And it was done September 11th, 2019. Marriage decline blamed on lack of economically attractive men. That's what I've covered in another previous video. Get rid of that. Now if you just drop down, this is the interesting bit. So some of fresh thoughts and the way to get you. Men aren't the oppressors we've led them to be. Men can be your greatest source of strength and support if you know how to love them and treat them well. Which comes down to where is it? This bit. He just wants a wife and children happy to see him and have a meal cooking for when he comes home. A woman's true power lies in her femininity. Men don't like to fight or compete with the women they love. Once you master the art of femininity, you will see how advantageous and how easy marriage can be. Move with, not against the biological tide. You don't swim against the tide, you go with it. Surfers, they don't go against the waves, they surf on the power of the wave. Choose a career path that works well with your marriage and motherhood. Don't go out to work on a corporation that thinks nothing of you. To choose a career where you can possibly work from home. Consider your life quality, how much money you make. There's much more to life than making money. They have a happy home, happy children, a husband who loves you. Where you live, how you live, you surround yourself and will have the most effective on your happiness and well-being. And factor in the tangibles of a working full-time and raising children. A second income isn't usually advantageous, with non-school age kids used to childcare, babysitting costs, and commuting costs, not to mention the cost of new clothing, eating out, that's new school clothing, etc. There's a great deal of power in learning to live on less and not having marital discord during this season of life. In other words, learn to live within your means as a happy family. Once again, something she doesn't agree with, even though she did go with a guy and she had a child, Blake Morgan. He's an American musician, singer, music producer, record label owner, clever lad. But he's also an activist, and he gets that from his mother, who once again is a member of this crowd. Well, whoops. But anyway, women are starting to see that things are turning against them. Remember, 2030, 52% of American women will be single and childless, and this was known back in 2015. And young men are turning against feminism because young men are seeing how shitty American society is with them if you're single and male, especially if you're white. Even though the African Americans and Hispanic Americans, they've also noticed how women are. And as a result, men are no longer interested in dating, and women are complaining on TikTok about it. But for a lot of them, it's too late, because they've chose to follow the diktats of this lot instead of the way women actually are, which at least this feminine lady has understood that. That's why she's done this article in 2021. I think I'm on the 30 minutes now, so I'll have to stop it. Right, people, you know the routine. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. It's completely up to you. So the next one will be next Monday, not next Sunday. So until then, bye-bye.